Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So last week I did a video on Samsung because Samsung was requiring that if independent repair shops want to get access to parts, that we have to steal parts out of your phone if you've installed a part without authorization, and we would also have to submit all of your information to Samsung. These are the very same companies that said that they care about your data privacy and security, which is why they cannot allow independents to repair your products, that simultaneously require that independents steal as much personal data from you as possible and submit it to the manufacturer. And today I'd like to discuss Google because I am equal opportunity when calling companies out on this garbage. So Google has had a repair program for over 11 years now that has this written in it if you take a look at their service and repair program terms and conditions. When you scroll down over here, it says unauthorized parts. You will not send in a device containing non-Google authorized parts. If you do, your device will not be returned to you. Now, this is something that obviously strikes me the wrong way. If you install an aftermarket solid-state drive in your MacBook and you take it to me to repair because the motherboard is damaged or because you've broken your screen, the idea that I would literally not give you your device back simply because you put a crucial SSD into a computer that came with a SanDisk is just absolutely and utterly insane. And most normal people would consider that insane. But you have to understand that the way these programs have been put together and the way they work, they're not intended to be used. These programs are intended for you to purchase a new one. They're designed to be so bad that nobody would ever use it. Now, at this point, I'm familiar with the type of questions people on Reddit's r/Apple or Mac rumors have when it comes to this. These people just want to use unauthorized parts. Unauthorized parts are bad. Why would they ever want to use that? They're just being cheap or trying to screw over their consumers. And that's an excellent question because there are repair shops out there that have bad reputations for screwing over their users. The first thing that I would want to say is for the last 10 years, what I've been advocating for is that manufacturers make parts available to independent repair shops so that we never have to use aftermarket parts. Usually I will go to an LG or an AU Optronics or a Chime LCD panel distributor or broker, and I will ask to get original LCDs if I buy 1,000 at a time. And sometimes I'm lucky enough that I actually do get original parts. But the fact that I have to dumpster dive and do this type of Columbo detective investigation to find them is something that I don't like. I'd really like to be able to give my customers new, original OEM parts, and that's precisely why we fight for right to repair, because I don't want to have to use aftermarket stuff in my customers. I want to be able to put in a part that's equal or better to what came in their computer, and that's what my site has been advertising. That's what my site has been bragging about since 2009 when I first put it up. And if you take a look at archive.org from 2009, I would literally list the exact part number going into your computer, and those part numbers were identical to the part numbers that Apple used, purchased from the same vendors. Now, if you want to understand the incentive structure behind why somebody may use an unauthorized part in an older device, you simply have to look no further than Samsung and Google's own self-repair programs. So Samsung released a self-repair program to try and get in front of right to repair legislation in 2022. This comes from Samsung corporate, and as is usual when you see something coming from corporate newsroom, it is a steaming pile of garbage. And I'd like to explain why it's a steaming pile of garbage, not just from my perspective, but also from the perspective of my customers. When you take a look at them bragging about their self-repair program, what you'll notice is that they partnered with iFixit. And what they're doing is they're actually selling the battery along with the screen because they want to glue them together. They don't want to sell the battery separately. As a result of Samsung's intentional decision to glue the battery to the screen and only sell them as an assembly, if you want to replace your battery in your several-year-old smartphone, you have to spend $199. However, if you take a look on eBay, you can buy that same model of phone for $152, $170, $165, $138, and it really does beg the question of why would you spend $60 more on a battery than you would just getting a phone that works. Because you have to think about this. You actually have to fix that phone yourself in order to get a working phone. So not only are you spending an extra $60 to get that part over what you could spend to literally buy another phone, but you also now have to spend half an hour of your time going around using a heat gun or some sort of heat plate or something, risking destroying the rest of the phone if this is your first time working on it, to get rid of that glue, and then having to put all this effort in to find which adhesive online is the right adhesive to get, putting that adhesive on and making sure that you do it perfectly so you get a liquid-proof seal the same way you had before. Again, this program is, in my opinion, designed to not be used. And if we take a look at Google's program, it is very similar in this regard. So they have this repair your own Pixel or Pixel tablet over here. This is what I call Google's fake repair program. And when you take a look at it, if you want to buy a screen to a Google Pixel 6, which is a phone that's several years old at this point, it is $272.99 to purchase the screen by itself. And again, this is a phone that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to get open. You're going to have to deal with everything that's glued together. Getting a seal that is as liquid resistant or liquid proof as the original is going to be very, very hard. You're going to have to find the original adhesives. iFixit sells some. And again, even if you do use iFixit's adhesives, it's very, very difficult to get a seal, if not impossible, for somebody at home that is as liquid proof as the original. And above all, when you go onto eBay, you can buy this phone for $120, $144 to $229, $229, $247. I spent about a page looking for this, and I can't find anybody on eBay selling a Google Pixel 6 Pro in working condition, very good condition, for more money than what Google is charging you for the screen by itself. So many people that are using aftermarket parts in their phone are doing so for two reasons. The first is that for many different devices, you literally cannot get an original part if you actually try to get the original part from the manufacturer or anything else. The second is that there are people out there that own phones that are maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years old, and because the phone is 3 or 4 years old, they don't care if the part that they're purchasing has 90% the quality of the original, particularly when the original part actually goes for 10 to 30% more than the price of a fully functioning and working device. It makes no sense to spend $270 on a part to a product that is worth $230 max on the used market, especially when you consider the fact that you have to do an hour or half an hour of work reading an online guide, risking breaking your device to get this thing to work again when you could spend 10 to 30% less money and get a fully functioning device. There are many legitimate reasons that somebody may send in a device with an aftermarket part in it, and that doesn't mean that they've done a crappy repair, nor does it mean that they're simply trying to rip somebody off with cheap, shitty parts. It really just means that they decided that they wanted to fix their device in an economically viable way because the manufacturer has gone out of their way to maliciously comply with right to repair laws coming down the pike and not make these parts available in a way that makes sense to consumers. So it is not only Samsung that is doing this, where they're telling you that if you send them a device or you send an independent repair center that has purchased their parts a device, that they may keep those parts, throw them away, report it to the manufacturer, or in Google's case, literally not return the product to you. For those of you who don't understand how horrible this is, I want you to imagine a situation where you really need to use your computer. It is your only computer and you use it for professional work. The manufacturer says that it's going to take a week to replace your fan because your fan died and you can't do your video editing as a result of the fan not working. You don't want to wait 2 to 3 days for a fan to arrive on eBay, and I'm right downstairs from you. So you walk into my shop and I tell you to be 5 minutes to replace the fan. However, because you replaced your Western Digital hard drive inside your computer with a crucial solid-state drive, I tell you that not only can I not fix your computer, but I'm also not giving it back to you, and I'm throwing away your drive. And I'm tattling on you to the manufacturer, because that's what Samsung is contractually requiring you to do. And I would again say, do not trust me. Look in the description down below. I will include links to that part of the contract. And Google has a contract that's very similar. And admittedly, this is on me for not even noticing it for as long as I have, because it says right over here on archive.org, if you take a look, this is effective July 19th, 2023. And on the version on their website, it is effective date July 19th, 2023. And the interesting part about this when it comes to Google's page is if you take a look at it right here, even though it says that these are terms that have been in place since July 19th, 2023, when you go to the Wayback Machine and you look at it, I can't find any capture of the site before 2023, which is strange because this is what I would imagine to be a very, very popular URL. It's on store.google.com and it is going over device repair. I'm old-fashioned. If somebody sends a product to me that I don't want to fix, I just give it back to them. I don't steal parts out of it. I don't not return it to you. I just give it back to you. There are customers that have sent in devices for me to fix that a cat pissed and shit on. Like, not like a little bit, like it just went everywhere. And I said, I don't want to fix this. I returned it to them in the exact same condition that they sent it to me. I didn't start stealing stuff out of it. Okay, frankly, that's a bad example because I wouldn't want parts from them. But you get the idea. Back in the day, if a repair shop did not want to fix your product for whatever reason, because they could not fix it, because it was too far gone, or just because they didn't like your face, they gave your product back to you the way that you took it to them. And that's the way it's supposed to be. This should not be normalized. In no sane world should a company be able to say that because you replace something on your device, not only are we not going to fix it, but we're going to keep your property. We're actually going to say the quiet part out loud. We own this now. This is something that I don't believe that consumers should put up with. And again, the only reason that companies do this is they realize that somebody else got away with it. When Apple gets away with something, why wouldn't Samsung do it? When Samsung gets away with something, why wouldn't Google do it? It makes sense to do this if consumers don't know what's going on, and particularly when consumer protection organizations in the United States, like the FTC, the FCC, and so on and so forth, are a complete and utter joke. This is also something I've discussed with Apple's repair program. So this is something where I'm not really just bashing Apple or bashing Google or bashing Samsung. I'm fundamentally bashing all of these fake repair programs that are designed as PR stunts to try and get in front of legislation before it is passed. They can pretend that they're giving you the rights to fix things without actually giving you those rights. In this video that I went over 4.5 years ago, Lewis dismantles Apple's PR stunt repair program. I'm going over the fact that Apple was requiring that I submit your personal data to them if I want to be able to fix your device. This repair program did not give me access to most of the parts that I actually needed to fix your product. It made those parts available under terms that would make it very difficult, if not impossible, for me to actually offer repairs to you. Similar to the Samsung repair program, it says that if I have parts that I'm not supposed to in my store, they find stuff there that shouldn't be there, like chipsets, like the ISL 9240 or a CD3217. You know, the $5 charging chip that I need to fix your $1,500 motherboard so you don't have to replace the whole thing, that I could get in trouble for that. The same way that Samsung's program contractually obligates Samsung repair technicians that are independent to not do motherboard repair. So if you ask that technician to do a motherboard level repair for you, they are literally not allowed to do so. These contracts are so bad that not only do they require that the repair shop steal parts out of your device, but they also require that repair shops not actually do repairs. When I talk to people on Reddit's r/Apple or on Mac Rumors and they say, why aren't you certified? You just don't want to get certified. My answer is usually because I want to be a repair shop. And if I were to join these repair programs, not only would I not be allowed to be a repair shop, but I would have to break my own conscience and ethics by reporting customer data to the manufacturer. The manufacturers are often accusing us of data privacy leaks, data security leaks. What about data? What about privacy? And listen, I have never in 15 years of business ever reported any information about my customers to the manufacturer. Apple has received zero data on any of my customers. I will never give that information away, and I never will. If you don't want to leave me a real name, you're more than welcome to leave me a fake name, a fake phone number. You don't even have to give me your address unless you don't want me to mail your device back to you. You're allowed to not give me information, and I am more than okay with that. It's the manufacturer that wants all your information. It's the manufacturer that wants to tell us that we're literally not allowed to do these repairs that our customers are demanding we do because they don't want to spend $1,500 to fix a $1,000 computer. They'd rather spend $275 to fix their $1,100 computer. And it's unfortunate that these repair programs are actually reported in the press as something that's real. Every time I see Google announces self-repair program, Samsung announces self-repair program, Apple announces self-repair program, independent repair shops get the right to repair, I retch inside a little bit because I know that these tech outlets that report this fake news before even looking into the economic viability or reading the contracts don't know their mouth from their asshole. And it's very unfortunate. And I hope that in speaking about these issues on this channel, that people will start to wake up to the idea that this is PR, this is propaganda, this is not actually intended to help you own your device. And in fact, we're literally moving backwards. Samsung announced a program that requires for me to get parts that I have to be willing to physically steal things out of your device. If you replaced your battery on your own because you decided that you did not want to spend $205 to fix a $140 smartphone, I have to steal that battery from you. We're not moving forwards. We're moving backwards. And I guarantee you, I would bet my house, my 3 cats, my business, and my future children that the FTC will never come out and say that this is not okay. Or any other consumer protection agency in the United States, because that's not what they're there for. They're there to collect your tax money and, I don't know, shuffle paper and release press releases on their website from time to time that makes it look like they're actually doing something. And that's very unfortunate. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I hope that the content that I put out on this channel inspires you to stand up for the rights of ownership, not just for you, but for the next generation as well. I would like to live in a world where we have the ability to fix our devices and where Big Brother is not saying that, oh, you did something that you shouldn't have with your device. We're literally going to steal it back from you. I talk about the fact on this channel that ownership is something that is going away. And when a manufacturer is telling you that they're literally not going to give you your device back after you paid for it, when you're willing to pay them for a second repair simply because you did something to it that they don't like, come on, you don't actually own that thing anymore. And if we don't make a stand now, when will we? See you in the next video. Bye now.